podcast. I am Sydney.
And I am Aaron.
And we are here to continue to report on how ghetto this earth is. And I wish I could tell you there's been improvements. Wish I could tell you they built a park, or maybe they fixed some of the infrastructure. But unfortunately, this week they decided to light it on fire.
Yeah. I guess we can jump right into the mental health. As far as my mental health, that's my mental health. Because it's like, what else can I say? We knew this is a turning point. We're about to talk about. And I knew it was coming. And when it actually knocked at the door, I was like, well, and so it begins.
Mental health. I also would like to choose an onomatopoeia sound. Because it's terrible. It's terrible out here. I think the only high point for me personally is finally being able to let go of some toxic shit, but we will get into that. So start wherever, child, wherever you wanna.
Okay. Speaking of mental health, no job is worth your fucking mental health. I'm sorry. I know the money may be cute for you, but either way, it's not worth it. I'm sorry.
Agreed. I'm personally going through that right now, and I feel like one of the things that, especially if you are in the United States, where the 40-hour work week and kind of like the enslavement of your body for profit. It's not just prostitutes and army men out here. We're all selling something, and I think that as of recently, I think I just decided that I gotta pick something. I gotta pick something that I want, because if I don't, I'm gonna end up dying at this job, and all they're gonna do is replace me with another robot. That's all that's gonna happen. So why am I holding on to this so bad? And I'm realizing that, and this is obviously not for anybody to go out and go quit your job, okay? But I do want you all to really think about what it's worth. Because listen, if you got kids to feed, illnesses, stuff like that, I know you can't lose your damn job. I already know that you can't even fight for a rent decrease because they got you working so fucking hard. They got you working 60 hours a week just to go ahead and keep yourself afloat. So I don't expect that to happen. But if you have any leeway whatsoever in your life, and you are finding yourself like it's like climbing Mount Everest to get to this job. And I know you got jobs like that.
Oh my God, when I tell you I want to set the place and everybody in it on fire, I felt like I was literally losing my mind. Like if I still had my locks when I used to have them, I would be pulling them hoes out. That's how crazy I felt.
Yeah.
It's not worth it.
And I think there's a lot of guilt that can go with that. No, not I think, I know. I know there's a lot of guilt that goes with that. Because you're thinking to yourself, you got people depending on me, I have this bill to make and this bill to make and so on and so forth. And I know that we have all been taught to not, as much Christianity as they wanted to shove into our faces. Economically, stepping out on faith is suicide. For a lot of people. And I just want to let you know that it doesn't have to be. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I've built a community in which I have been able to be blessed enough. And a community that I work hard for. I work hard for my community. And that same community is supporting me in this time of need. And I think that, or in this time of deciding that I don't want to be miserable no more. Of just choosing happiness and deciding, you know what? I am going to bet on this podcast. I'm going to bet on all of my other further endeavors that y'all are going to be seeing going up. I've got to bet on me because this is, and then just waiting waiting for somebody to just hand me another opportunity. I just decided, to do something different. And you'll know if you can too. But if you can, that faith they be telling you about, to have in the sky and God and whatever, take that faith and put it in yourself a little bit.
And like she said, this is why community is so important. And the government hates mass solidarity, hates community, and they know that when we have each other's backs, like Sydney has my back, I have her back. It's been a point where she's giving me some money, okay? So I just think that it's like she's been there for me, and I would do the same. And the more of us do that, that is going to scare the fuck out of the government. We have to build community because the government ain't doing shit for us. Like I'm telling you. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that.
Let's go ahead and
moving on, girls. Okay, so Kanye West is being sued for employing minors for an adult app. Child.
Listen, by the way, this is unverified. But I will say.
So the streets say.
The streets are talking. And this is what the streets are saying. And sadly, a lot of the things they be saying be coming up in a lawsuit later, so.
With the new lawsuit against Bianca Censori and Kanye West is piping hot. Let's talk about it. So Bianca Censori has just been named in a lawsuit that alleges that she was sharing very explicit content with staffers who were minors. If you haven't yet heard, Kanye West is trying to launch his own corn app called Yeezy Corn. And while Bianca Censori is not an official defendant in this lawsuit, both Kanye West and his chief of staff, Milo Yiannopoulos, are. And the lawsuit details how they were hiring a slew of minors, sometimes as young as 14, to work on this adult content app. They were forcing them to work long hours. They alleged that there were racist comments made at them all the time. And they were also promised pay that never came. So not only are these employees seeking their unobtained wages, they're suing for emotional distress. Milo Yiannopoulos, who is a human trash bin himself, resigned back in May, but it looks like he didn't get off scot-free here. But I think this story is about to get a whole lot more interesting.
I chose a short one.
Thank you.
Thoughts?
Kanye. You have a history of being problematic. Very problematic. Yes, this is alleged, but I'd be lying if I say I won't be shocked if it's true. Because you're Kanye. And that's all I'm gonna say with that. I have no words right now. Niggas still gonna probably. Do you think niggas still gonna listen to it?
Of course. We have realized very quickly, even with Palestine, that a lot of people do not care unless something is directly affecting them in their backyards. Which I always say that the Israeli government is treating our police for it. It's killing us in the streets. Like, if you want to find something to care about, you can care about that. That's fine. I digress. I will say, this is not. I feel like it's only. I don't want to say it's shocking, but that shocked me. It's like, because it was one thing the last time we talked about Kanye, where you're just assaulting adult women. I guess in my mind, maybe you'll stick to adults. And obviously that's not how any of this works. And all I can say is my heart goes out to all of his alleged victims.
Wow. And it's just because I know niggas we don't know for sure, and y'all females be coming up with stuff, and And it's just y'all holding each other accountable is kicking y'all ass. It's like really kicking y'all ass. Y'all are scared of each other, and y'all know that.
Like, you would just think, like, for the sake of the black community, you would extricate certain motherfuckers. You know what?
Like, them niggas step on your Jordans, it's the end of the world. But when it comes to some shit like this, you can't be like, hey, like, that ain't it.
That's not okay. That's not right. And what sucks is, again, if it's not something that is in their faces, most people are not going to care about it. I liken it all the time to a lot of these famous people when they finally die, and people are only singing all of their praises. I always think about like the victims of those famous people that died. That means on that day, where they should be able to find some peace in your death, all they can do is hear about you over and over and over and over. But, all right, next one.
Next case.
What was this topic?
The orange Cheeto puff.
Oh, God.
Someone has tried to assassinate your favorite tangerine.
Wait! I'm
Get
sorry.
my good side.
I'm sorry.
The bullet grazed the skin of the tangerine, and a little bit of tangerine juice has spilled and got on the tangerine.
Mm-hmm.
Trump.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless if it is staged or not, history has shown that it doesn't matter because the picture tells the story. Politics is about the image. That's it. This was most likely a guaranteed win. He was already ahead in the polls before this shit. Nationwide, 5 points ahead of Biden.
Yep. And now I think it's like 20.
Yeah.
I think it's like 20. Yeah. He went up in each group, Democratic, Conservative, and Third Party.
And it's like, see what happens when your entire identity and campaign is anti-Trump, but Trump. He's a martyr now.
A martyr and a boogeyman, apparently.
Yeah.
Okay.
Quick video.
No, it's just extreme act of communication, especially when you told people nobody's going to listen to them. You spent the past several months boxing them in rhetorically. You've told them endlessly that it's only death and destruction under Trump, but also that nothing's going to get better under Biden. You've made people desperate to the point where they'll do anything to stop. And we're not even discussing the domestic issues that color the way people are looking at the genocide in Gaza. Like, what did you all think was going to happen? They just need to vote. They just need to vote. You don't get to choose what happens when you make people desperate. That clip is from late February, and I posted it after Aaron Bushnell's self-immolation. And people seem to only think I was talking about self-unaliving. No, campaigns based off of fear almost always yield violence. Almost every single time. And whatever you think about the circumstances that led to that violence, once people become desperate, violence is usually what they turn to, whether it be against themselves or to others. And even if it's a conspiracy, even if people say it's a conspiracy, it literally does not matter. It doesn't matter. For the last, 9 months, liberals and Democrats have been trying to box people in rhetorically. And again, people will do anything to make desperation and fear stop. And they'll especially go off the rails when they see that the people that they're supposed to believe in are unmoved to do anything to help them. Or if they need to get an advanced political degree to understand the people that are explaining to them how they're really helping. Desperation is always dangerous. Always.
Yeah, shout out to Imani, Crutchton Spice on TikTok. Like, she nails it every time. When you are doing just straight up fear, this is what you get. And that fear shit, it just isn't working anymore because a lot of people have been royally fucked for decades under whatever administration. Yeah. So it doesn't work.
I also think when we talk about the desperation of people, when you have done nothing over and over but fearmonger, take it back to the early 2000s when we're in the thick of the Iraq War that was in Afghanistan and wasn't in. Listen, we already know it was fucked up. It was fucked up. And I remember all of the fear that they were stoking in almost every news outlet. And it was against Muslim people. All of a sudden, Muslim people were getting stabbed and shot at in the street. All of that fear that they stoked against the Muslim people ended in what? Violence. In this particular situation, you were telling people that no matter which way that you vote, you're doomed. Because that's what you're actually telling people. All that fear that you're actually stoking, you're telling people no matter which way you vote, you are doomed. And what do you think people are going to do when they feel that they are absolutely out of any options? They can't even rationalize a way out.
And this is why, like, people say I'm crazy for saying it, but death is an option for a lot of people now, because there has been no sign, no words of hope pushed from nowhere. Mm-hmm. So when I say death is an option, people say, okay, well, fuck it, I just don't care. And you say, well, you will when that's not going to work.
Yeah. Yeah. And they're moving to either self-immolation or outward violence. This is the way it always has been, and we're now just applying it to this particular situation. But that's literally the way it always has been.
When people are in a place where they literally have nothing left to lose, people stop giving a fuck. You cannot intimidate people that have had everything taken from them. Whether it's red or blue. Speaking of blue, Biden had a press conference and said that fucking Trump was the vice president, and
called
said
Kamala the vice president.
Yeah, and then said President Putin. Like he was all over the place. He was all over the place. This is the video. Yes. I'm a little stoned, Joe. What on earth is together? I think I'm doing pretty decent.
I think so, too.
For my condition.
I'm not one to get involved in internet beef, and maybe this is against my better judgment, but I'm a political organizer. This is what I've been doing professionally for 6 years. And recently a large creator came onto this app and asked, what are we going to do about Project 2025? And I answered. And I know he saw my answer because it got back to me that he didn't like it. So I'm coming on here to double down, because while I totally understand why people are afraid of Project 2025, I think it's really important that y'all, especially, white men like this creator, understand that the conditions you are afraid of in Project 2025 are conditions people are currently living under, are conditions that people are currently organizing against. You're asking, what are we going to do about it, as if it's some future thing. It's a thing that you can currently start fighting against if you actually care. Now, he didn't like that answer the first time, and I'm going to make what might be an unfair assumption, so he is welcome to correct me, but I'm willing to bet that he didn't like that answer the first time because he's the type of person that engages politically every 2 to 4 years around election cycles. That's how most people are. I get it. But if you are actually invested in fighting against fascism, and you're actually invested in fighting for progress in this country, you can't only engage every 2 to 4 years. You have to engage regularly. That is something that I directly advocated for in that video. And honestly, if you really care about fighting fascism, if you really care about making progress in this country, you can't just engage politically. You got to engage outside of the system as well. You really do need to get involved in mutually. You really do need to get to know your neighbors, which is something else I advocated for in that video. The response a lot of people want to what are we going to do about Project 2025 is to vote for the Democratic nominee in November, and okay, go ahead and do that, but then it just becomes Project 2029. This is a constant fight. That's what I need you all to understand. Literally, as I was recording this video, somebody commented on my video, I live in Indiana, where I grew up. We're already in Project 2025. That is the reality of a lot of people in this country. And y'all need to acknowledge that, not just so you can understand the apathy a lot of people have and have some empathy for their apathy, but also so you can understand that there are people fighting in these states. You think the people in Indiana are just rolling over and dying? They're not. They're fighting back against the things that you're afraid of. If you're really that afraid of them, don't you want to know how to fight back? The fight against Project 2025 doesn't start on Election Day. It started a while ago. welcome to the party. You're a little late, but if you're looking for real ways to fight back, I've got them. You just have to be willing to listen in good faith. Anyway, vote local, unionize your workplace, and stop calling the cops.
That part, especially the fucking last part. Oh my god.
Listen, and I loved this video because I felt like it hit all of the points that we have been trying to like really drive home since the beginning of all this, especially because, again, as we've said, the fear-mongering for Project 2025 is not going to work when you're talking to people who are already in it, who are already living it, their friends are already living it. They're like dying from the infrastructure, from the freeze in Texas. They're like this has been going on, and I feel like we refuse to acknowledge it, and I feel like that invalidation is what is going to give Trump this presidency, because you are so dismissive. You are so dismissive and you're so condescending. Why the fuck would we work with you? When we try to say our piece and tell you what's happening, the only thing that you will tell us is that you better vote blue or just enjoy the circumstances that you're in. I've been in them. I've been in them. And I've been in them from before this president, from the president before that, and from the president before that. It seems like you just showed up to the party. And that's it.
They say that because that for the people that are already in Project 2025, these white liberals know that. They don't care because they only care that it's about to affect them now. I really wish a lot of y'all would just be honest and say, okay, sure, you're going through a Project 2025 right now, but I never gave a damn. It's going to affect me now. So you need to get your black ass to the polls and vote blue. You might as well just say that, because that's basically how a lot of y'all sound. And I don't like white liberals more. Like, I hate y'all both, but I'm starting to hate liberals more, because y'all are wolves in sheep's clothing, and you like to use your proximity to innocence to fool folks and thinking that you know some shit and have a higher moral ground when you are just as evil, conniving, all the things.
Especially under the guise of allyship in order to get our trust, just to continue to sell us a dream that never comes to fruition. It doesn't make sense. At least the Republicans, we know we can't go near it.
Yeah. And speaking of voting, can y'all please stop saying, well, I don't give a fuck if y'all do it, because but you just sound stupid. Saying that God is on the ballot, and we gotta vote God and vote for Christ and all that other dumbass shit.
What is that even supposed to mean? Like, what does that even mean? Like, what like when people are saying you gotta put God on the ballot, do you mean like you can pencil him in, or do you mean like God will guide my hand to which person, or do you mean like God possesses you and writes what you need? Like, I don't know. It's a very weird place to be in. But when you say vote for God, it just makes me think that you suck on the end of batteries at night and you don't like. No, seriously, they like something like that, because that doesn't make any sense.
Not batteries.
No.
But no, like y'all are not okay. Are y'all okay?
Like what? Okay.
Let me hold your hand. Let me hold your hand when I say this. You know what? God is good. And that's why Trump is about to be the next president, because of all this shit. He got us, yeah. And that's what white supremacy ain't going nowhere.
I mean, God got us the same way he had us during slavery. God got us the same way he had us during the Trail of Tears. God had us the same way he had us during colonization and the Crusades. So it seems like we're still fucked, because there's no 411 for Jesus.
Mm-hmm. God got us, but we still pay for water. I thought it was this Okay, whatever.
It's man that's evil. Please, just I don't want to.
It's okay, so you don't know. Moving on, you put this one. The Christian obsession with struggle love is psychotic.
Yes, the Christian obsession with struggle love is psychotic, and I want you to go ahead and play the video first so you can understand why I'm talking about this. Because wow.
And especially like in a lot of black households, I've noticed this too.
That I got as an it to my husband, and he didn't even respond. Like, that's how clocked out he relationship. And it wasn't until I want to say like a month or two, maybe 3 months later, that I found out that he was talking to someone at his job and they were in a relationship. For the whole duration of my pregnancy, he is with that woman, and we have not communicated at all. No calls, no texts. He doesn't know anything about the baby. I don't know what's going on outside of like when I have conversations with his mom and his.
I quite literally never in my life want to be loved like that. That is absolutely insane. Imagine having a young child, getting pregnant again, and your husband leaves you and your child and the one inside of you and says nothing to you for your entire pregnancy.
For milk. I don't know.
And you get on this app saying, this was God's work. And he had a whole girlfriend he was effing at his job. And then you get on the internet mad when people are saying you're insane. To get on the internet and be like, that's how God restored our marriage. The way people use God to be like, God did this amazing thing. Maybe God was trying to break up your marriage. Maybe God was telling you you shouldn't be with this person, and that's why he was allowing all of these bad things to happen. Why does nobody ever place those two together? Why is it when it's something bad?
And just pause
But
right
when
there,
it's something good, it's
because she almost had it. But I absolutely love the fact that we're going to spin it around on its head and be like, maybe God was trying to warn you, bitch. But at the same time, the reason why I decided to put this on is because as a person, well, as people who have grown up so solidly in the church, the one thing that has always been preached to us and constantly has been long-suffering. Because that's what makes us holy. The sackcloth and ashes, the fasting, all the things. If we suffer, we can be closer to him. And I need all of these, all of God's strongest warriors to realize y'all are just ride or dies with Bibles. And what's worse about it is that you don't even realize what you're doing to the children in this situation. And it doesn't matter what gender they are. You're teaching them something. How they decide to show up in the world, so it depends on what they're taught, but you're teaching them something. And we'll just go ahead and deal with the binary, because God knows, I don't know what y'all would do if you had somebody non-binary, so let's just deal with what you can deal with. So if you have a girl, and she is watching you be alone and cry and hide. And by the way, I don't care how much you say I hide it from my kids. It's never hidden. It's never hidden. Because even if we don't see it, we can feel your fucking unhappiness. It's like the lights are dimmer in the house. I was that child. Don't tell me no different. And she's going to watch you suffer. Just so that this man can pick up when it was the easiest for him to do. What do you think she's going to go out into the world and do? It's already bad enough that Christianity has taught us that having a backbone is just not one of the things that matter. Because I always felt like that was so strange and crazy, because all we're taught to do as children growing up in the church is to sit down and shut the fuck up. And then they expect us to leave the house, go into the world, and then know how to stand up for ourselves. I never understood how y'all put that shit together.
It's almost like it's parallel to slavery, because the slave has to just sit there and take it. You're supposed to be, since you're the slave, you're not supposed to fight back. Turn the other cheek. You see how this shit works, and you see how this shit is connected.
And I feel like I want people to understand that it's not just straight people who are doing this shit, who are staying in struggle up. Just like, listen, these people are doing it with the Christianity. It makes it so much deeper for them to get out of. And as black queer people, most of us, I want to say, especially in America, most of us, 99% of us, have grown up with some kind of Abrahamic religion. We take that indoctrination in with us into our gay relationships, into our queer relationships. I promise you do. And be like, no, I know that they cheated on me, but I can't just leave them when they're like that. I can't just do this when this is going on, and they've got this and that. They're fighting demons. Listen, we all get the same excuses. It goes all across genders. I want that to be very clear. And the one thing that is, I feel like one of the most damaging parts of it all is we're taught to love the pain. Because remember, we're taught that with long suffering is supposed to come this love and this joy. Because we suffer for God. What do you think psychologically that does for us?
That's why I never understood why some of y'all put slave for Jesus in your bio. Why are you proud of that?
So wait, people do that?
Yeah, they're a slave for Jesus or a slave for Christ. And put like sparkles around it and shit, try to make it look pretty. No, it's fucked up. No matter how much you try to make it look cute, it's not you.
Oh my God, the indoctrination is insane. I remember watching a show on Showtime, and it was like the real L Word, but like for country bumpkins, and it was the reality show. And I will never forget, as I saw this woman and her partner. By the way, they have children. From who, I don't know, because I don't think anybody was going to in vitro and doing all that. But they would pray together. They would try to pray the gay away together.
That's it.
And she was like, I would never teach my children to be what I am. And I'm like, you grew up in Alpharetta in the 70s. Who taught you to be a lesbian, bitch? I would love to fucking know. What was being modeled that you were just like, you know what? That's such a good idea. I never thought about vagina. I never did, because I've always thought to myself, I'd like to muff a munch. You know what I mean? I'd like to do both those things. That doesn't happen. Just like I didn't grow up seeing gay shit. Pretty fucking gay.
God was saying, you.
And Aaron didn't grow up seeing gay shit. Still fucking gay. And you don't gotta play the rest of that. Because I know that she's gonna go on and on about like what God is gonna do and how he's gonna take you through, and that's
That's what we thought to
yeah,
happen.
that's what I was like, I'm not. It was like the first part was good.
Not the second half being a sermon.
Not quite a sermon. I'm not gonna do that to you. But you know, it was enough. That's all. But thank you, girl.
But God.
I would never do that to you, girl. That was Aaron. I just want to let you know. Aaron said that. No, movie stuff.
Y'all kill me when y'all say that shit. But God.
But God.
Man, I've got my ass beat by my husband.
But God.
But God. So give him another chance. Because he is a warrior.
On my face, yeah. No, sorry. Go ahead. My bad. Go ahead.
And that cheat on their wives and dog them out in the church, be so happy that y'all believe in God. That sounds terrible, but stay with me real quick. I just had to block yet another beautiful Christian woman talking about how she overcame her husband's infidelity. They both was in the church. He was dogging her out. The church worked with them together so she could forgive him after God forgave. Something like that. Time and time again, we've seen this before, right? I've grown up in the church. I'm talking 4 to 5 times a week, okay? The way an excuse can be made for a man is fascinating still to this day. Because I'm watching yet another beautiful Christian woman who has never strayed in her faith, right? She has never strayed in her belief. She has stayed loyal to what she believes or whatever the religion preaches. Married to an ancient man who knows how to capitalize off of her faith, who knows how to capitalize off of her forgiveness. And it doesn't get old, because I'm on the sidelines watching, right? I've always been on the sidelines watching, and it pulls me in every time. There's always a line about how she says, God knows, and I wanted to value my faith and my vows to God. And he never does. He never does.
It's got y'all in a chokehold. This need to suffer, because whether, especially since most of us are either victims of the church, active or non-active, and I need people to understand that taking this into relationships is so dangerous. And I know that it's hard for a lot of people to hear. You cannot follow the Bible for everything, but you can remember it when they say to not eat shellfish and to not masturbate, or you have to cast out your right eye. Go ahead and think of it that way. You can't do it for all the things. You just can't. And I just feel so terrible for a lot of people who are in that chokehold because they truly believe the only way for them to do, the only way for this relationship to progress is if they hold on no matter what is done to them, because that's perseverance.
Like, it's got y'all so bad where a lot of y'all feel that something's not right if you're not suffering. Like, you feel like, oh my God, like, things are going too good, and it's like that's how bad it's got you, and that's why y'all also are defending capitalism so much. We gotta have people suffering somehow. We can't all just be eating free food and shit. It's really bad for a lot of y'all.
Pull yourself up by the bootstraps. In one sentence, while you're like, yes, but give to your community in the next. Y'all, a child, you don't believe in that.
You don't believe in that shit. Y'all know better than Target talking about you don't want donation. Donate to these people.
And the money never get there?
And the money never get there, and it's a billionaire corporation asking y'all to donate. Girl, that don't give a damn.
Oh, this one is, so we're going to go to our last topic, where we are going to go ahead and talk about how, oh, child, because you know I was telling you that it's real ghetto in the earth and everything. So, I don't know who forgot that climate change was still coming for that ass along with everything else, because I know war, mayhem, killing children, men, women, children, babies, it doesn't matter what's happening. Yes, the earth is also trying to kill us because we're a virus.
Wipe us all out. Do what you gotta do, girl. Wipe all our asses out.
Listen, and don't be doing no halfsies. I don't need to be around to mourn people. Just
please. Because we deserve it at this point.
Listen, and if you give me like a countdown so I can do all the drugs and have an orgy, child.
Yeah, just let me know so I can sit on a few faces real quick.
You know what I'm saying? No, my bad. That diverted. It's okay.
We got to class.
Anyway, yeah, right. First bite.
Going to the beach, then you're gonna wanna hear this. Not only have multiple locations been closed around the US, but due to the high temperatures in water, bacteria has rapidly started to grow.
37 beaches in Massachusetts alone closed due to bacterial exceedance, some testing positive for high levels of cyanobacteria or blue-green algae. Beachgoers warned not to swim or enter the water in those locations to avoid risk.
Now, I know some of y'all are still gonna say it's not that serious, which is the exact same thing this girl said before she lost her leg.
Health experts caution that cyanobacteria grows more rapidly in warm water. In California,
The way that was cut in, that threw me off.
Okay, I wasn't prepared. I did not watch this whole video.
And the way that she said it,
description,
just like this bitch right here. Like, oh my God. Girl, I can't.
It is not funny.
It's not.
No, it's truly not.
But you would have to cut that.
Yeah.
You didn't have to do that.
That was a shady cut.
That was a shady cut.
Listen, and I do editing. I know how you did that.
And just like this bitch right here. Like, girl, no, you ain't have to do that.
I was like, oh my God.
Girl, anyways.
Which is the exact same thing this girl said before she lost her leg.
health experts caution that cyanobacteria grows more rapidly in warm water. In California, at least 3 areas along San Diego Bay have been closed for days to swimmers, with the city pointing to high bacterial levels due to sewage runoff in Tijuana. And just last week in New York, an advisory against entering the water at 63 beaches in Suffolk County, which includes much of Long Island, due to increased bacteria.
Yo.
We can just,
That's,
God got us, and it's God's creation, so He'll figure it out.
So, I need y'all to invest in your community pools.
Also, did you see the video of the dead fish because of the water being too hot?
Yes.
Those fish just floating around because it's
Yes. Yes. Like a cartoon when somebody puts like a dirty sock in water and all of a sudden all the animals just that's not.
Yeah, it's boiling water.
That's something that's actually happening because the temp fucking high. And I feel like we have spoken about this beforehand in past episodes where we were talking about the Earth's core, about one of the Earth's crust starting to melt, and inside that crust is like 100,000-year-old diseases and that is now melting, and it should not be melting because now it's going to release that into the atmosphere. So if we thought COVID was a big issue, which by the way never went away, right? Because I promise you, there's still COVID patients.
Yeah, a lot of them. Spike went up last week.
Okay, so all I can say is that in my mind, it is best to run because by the time we fix it, the earth might kill us. Or maybe if we do such severe work.
They said we got 2 years to do anything, if that's even a possibility, of keeping the climate or something like that.
Yeah, they said that we have like literally and we would have 2 years before it's too late.
Before it's too late.
Where
yes.
we wouldn't be able to do anything to reverse it. So we literally have until 2026, and we're not doing anything about it in reference to climate change.
Yeah. Your government wants to still build more coal mines.
And no more OSHA, no more EPA. Now we're getting rid of regulations. So what do you think that's going to do to our environment? Again, I feel like we're beating a dead horse here, but I need y'all to hear us. 2025, that particular project is happening right now. And it was happening 4 years ago, 8 years ago, 12 years ago. Maybe we could start at 1492. This has been going on a long time. We're gonna actually have to do something fucking different to stop it. And this vote blue, no matter what you do, is not gonna work for anybody. Do you see what's happening? With stage or not, we have shootings and self-immolations, and whether it's mass shootings, you see the violence that is spilling out because of what's happening? Do you think that's going to stop? Yeah.
On that note,
Okay.
subscribe to us.
Damn, okay, wait, let's see. Okay, I feel like...
I mean, I can't even think of anything that ended out good with. This is so fun. It's just like, Earth is ghetto. That's what we named it. This.
I feel so bad being like, so yeah, everyone's gonna die.
We're going to die. Thanks for listening.
Like that don't look up shit, just go on stage somewhere and scream.
That movie was scary accurate because we would fucking try to make capital off of an asteroid heading towards us.
Like, I know it's gonna kill everybody, but,
It does not kill.
Listen.
It is shiny.
If we go up there and we get the stuff, then we get the stuff, and then we can buy more stuff down here.
Yeah.
So
we
I
can
know.
buy a laser to shoot at.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we'd be fine. And then whenever it crashes, it'll just be in pieces, and then we'll be long gone. Tahiti, like, they don't.
That's why I said I want her to just wipe us all out, do her thing, because we are stupid. You can follow us on Earth_is_ghetto_, and you can follow me on Instagram, Aaron8077, AARON 8077.
And you can follow me on TikTok, spelled exactly as you hear it, Not Your Magical Me, KMEE_GRO.
Period. And you can listen to all of our episodes on all streaming platforms.
All right.
Bye, niggas and friends.